It's late, it's been a long day, but I wanted to get this video up today. So no editing, I'm just gonna ramble really quick about thoughts. So hopefully over the last 5 or 6 days, you've been monitoring your thoughts, and over the last couple days, hopefully you've been questioning, why is my brain creating this thought? And I want to say a couple things. So first, just by doing that, you've separated yourself from your thoughts, which, I think is very positive. Like, that's in ACT therapy, it's called diffusion, where we're no longer our thoughts, we become the observer. And I'm going to talk about that more in another video down the way a bit. But the other thing I wanted to talk about is what to do about that. That's what I said I would address in this video. So one of the things that has to do with not being fused with your thoughts, not being your thoughts, is that you're just accepting thoughts as thoughts, right? You're observing them and accepting, you're accepting the thought as the thought. So one way to do that, and an acronym that I find really helpful, is RAIN, R-A-I-N. So R is recognize, like recognize my thought. A is accept my thought as a thought, no matter what. Like I said, I have these dark thoughts, right? I have, I don't know, I have thoughts that aren't really serving a positive purpose. And rather than judging myself or admonishing myself for having them, I just accept that, okay, like, these are just thoughts. One of my favorite sayings about thoughts is from Dan Millman. He says, you're no more your thoughts than you are a freckle at the end of your nose. Like, it's a tiny, tiny aspect that doesn't define you. Your thoughts do not define you. And people go back and forth about that, right? There's sayings such as, you are what you think. Like, the way you think is what is how you'll become. But not, in my opinion, that's true if you're just letting your thoughts lead you through life. But if you're stepping back and evaluating them, then that doesn't happen. You're more in control of your thoughts. So that's the A, recognize, accept. I is investigate, which is what you've been doing for the last few days with, like, what does this thought feel like in my body? How does this thought make me feel? What is the motive of this thought? Like, where is this thought coming from? That's why I love using the stuff that I said in the last video on evolutionary theory. Like, a lot of, let's say I have a fear, I'm meeting a bunch of people, like always the first day of class, I have this fear. I've been teaching psychology classes for 12 years. There's no reason for me to walk into a class of new students and have that kind of anxiety. But I usually have like this tinge of anxiety, and that's normal, and it's fine, and it's okay. But where it comes from is my fear I'm going to do something offensive or wrong or frowned upon by the group, and I'm going to be kicked out, right? This fear comes from my ancestors, right? Like, that would happen if I, thousands of years ago, I don't even know, maybe more than that. I'm not really good with history. Thousands of years ago, if I offended the group and they threw me out, I'd probably die. But that's not going to happen today. If probably I've offended students and I've continued to survive, right? So it's an evolutionary fear, and by evaluating where it comes from, I kind of, decrease its weight in my mind. So the I is investigate, right? So recognize, accept, investigate, and the N is non-identify. And that goes back to what I said before, that I am not my thoughts, right? So by creating this distance, we're getting closer to being Buddha-like, okay? That's it. I'm gonna post it as is. I'll see you in a few more days, maybe 5 at the most, and we'll move on to the next topic.